Hi,
Howdy.
welcome to the Prettycast.
Episode 8, I believe.
Oh, true.
Yeah. We're up there now.
I'm excited. I needed this.
Did you? You needed a bit of a chat. You've been away.
Yeah, I feel like we're just like working through some.
We did have a pretty deep and meaningful chat before we decided not to go into that topic. Because it was too depressing.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about dogs and elevators.
What do you think a dog thinks an elevator is? It's like a teleport.
Does Rain, I've got a Border Collie cross Jack Russell. You've got, what's Rain? She's a bit of a mixed thing, kind of small.
She's a Kelpie mini fox terrier. That's a sausage dog.
Yeah, but she's not too similar. She's a yummy little sausage lady.
She is a little sausage lady.
No, so whenever me and Dee are walking and there comes like a metal grate or something,
Yeah, they freak
he
out.
steps over it. He's like, he weirds him out.
Rain actually doesn't know to do that. So I get really scared every time she gets in and out of the elevator because she's been known to get her foot caught down the shaft.
Isn't that an elevator shaft? Your foot got stuck in the. Oh, I see. My fear is dropping my keys down.
Oh, remember when I did that for you?
She dropped my keys down.
Yeah, Kyro was away and I was like house sitting, taking care of Dee Dee.
This happens
and I called
every
you.
time.
Yeah, I know it did. And I was like, oh, it's just the worst. You know, when you're just hungover, everything's going wrong. And then you drop the keys down the elevator shaft and all of a sudden you're $500 out of pocket.
It's not cute, is it?
It's really not.
Yeah.
It was actually an eye-opening experience because you were like, we'll call the locksmith.
Yeah.
And I was like,
because I was an hour and a half away. I'm like, I'm not coming back to let you in.
Yeah.
Love ya. But it was the third time you lost a set of keys staying at mine. Do you remember at Rothschild when you lost the keys and then like 3 months later you walked over the key in the street? You were like, oh my God, I found the key.
You're kidding?
Yeah.
I did that.
Yeah. Yeah. And we were amazed that it was still there. It was like run over by a car and stuff. And you were like, I think that's the key.
Whoa. Yeah, I remember that.
I remember that because I didn't have a key for 2 months. I wish dogs could be tickled. Like
I wish they could laugh.
as you were tickling them,
I just wish they'd laugh.
right?
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Imagine if Rain laughed at my jokes. Oi, Rain.
What a great audience.
She's a shit audience.
Well, she can't hear anything. She's dead.
She just sleeps all day. She's
Yeah.
13. She's
like
old.
Yeti now.
People, do you know what really shits me? Actually, this is okay. So my dog's been 13 for a while now.
6 years, yep.
Yeah. We weren't exactly sure how old she was when we got her, and we kept learning that it was like just a bit younger than we thought, and so we've just kept it at 13.
We always
for, like,
assumed
the
she was
last-
just 8, but she was
I thought she
always
was,
about 4 years older than we thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know when people see your dog and they go, "Oh, your dog's obviously old," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, obviously." Like, and they're like, "Oh, so arthritis," and I'm like, "Yeah," and they're like, "Oh, have you tried chicken bones?" And I'm like, "Are you fucking serious? Do you not think that I've tried every single thing that I could possibly afford in order to make my dog's life better?"
It amazes me the level of things that, like when you're sick and someone, like you're both 32 years old and the person goes, "I've heard vitamin C is really good for you." And you're like, are you serious right now? You think I've never tried vitamin C when I had a cold? Oh, come on, champion, be better.
Yeah.
What is that nonsense?
Yes, and just don't try and teach me how to
I've heard
parent my own dog.
I heard chicken soup's really good for that.
Oh, gosh. And then I'm like, do you know what I say back to them?
Yeah.
Have you tried chicken bones? Have you looked in my dog's mouth? She's got no teeth. For fuck's sake, shut up. You don't know anything.
Yeah. It's when you say something to someone and you look at them and the key word triggers something in their head and they go, this is their internal dialogue. "Oh, I know how I can answer that. I've got the cure to that fucking problem for this person." And then they're like, "Hey, tried chicken bones?" And you're like,
It makes my
What a
blood
great idea.
boil. It makes
"I've never heard of that before."
really.
Wow, thanks, Sherlock.
Nothing makes me
Another
more
case
passive.
solved. Yeah, genius. Yeah, no, I don't know what the internet is. I've never used Google before.
Have you heard of? Do you eat garlic when you have a sore throat? I just eat chunks of garlic.
No, because I don't get sore throats. I'm lucky. You get really sore throats. I don't get sore throats.
What do you reckon that's about?
I don't know. I don't know why you get sore throats and I don't. But you get chronic problems.
Yeah, I can't
for
smoke
months.
cigarettes.
Well, that's probably a good thing.
Well, like I try to when I'm drunk, but like
Yeah.
it never ends well.
No. Well, that's
It's always,
probably
and
your
also
body
when
saying
you
don't
do
that.
gigs, like it's just not.
But why are your tonsils and glands so much more heightened than mine?
Yeah, I don't know, but they are because I
Yeah.
get sick. I'll smoke a cigarette and get tonsillitis.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
That's not fun.
I had a friend once
Shouldn't
that
smoke
whenever she'd kiss someone, she'd get tonsillitis.
What?
And then she ended up with another friend of ours, and the reason that she thought that they knew they'd be good together was
'cause
because
that
they
person
kissed,
always
and
had-
she didn't get tonsillitis.
Imagine if that was the measuring stick for your love for someone.
Yeah, it would be really easy.
I kissed them and they didn't give me tonsillitis. Match made in heaven.
Turns out it was not the sign that they were going to last, but
Did they last?
got about 8 months in.
And then she got tonsillitis. She was like, maybe he's symptomatic. That's funny.
Mum just reckons we're not smokers, which is laughable.
Mum thinks that we can't do anything at all. She's like, no, there's no way you can drink. You'd be terrible drinkers. There's no
It's
way you
always
guys can
around
drink
drugs
alcohol.
and alcohol, though. She's like, you guys can't handle it.
We're like, what are you talking about? Like this is not talk up, but we've been in the music industry for like 10 years now. Even at the strongest person in their most absolute prime that can say no has still in the music industry after 10 years. You know, there's a small percent that haven't. Would say, oh yeah, I did it one time or I did it this time.
whatever.
We've done it a few more than one or two times. I did it one time. And yet she still thinks, even though we're
That we can't
still in
handle it.
this, that we couldn't be able to handle any of that. It's like, really? How little do you think of us? How little do you think of your own gene pool, too?
I'm just building my own stamina. I've got to last a lifetime in this industry.
I think your tonsils and glands have led to the downfall of our mother thinking that we can't party.
Yeah, I would blame that.
That it's almost.
She's like, you always get sick.
Your sister's always got tonsillitis. You guys shouldn't. Great value. Yeah, weird times at the moment. There's just so much happening and so much not happening at the same time.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk.
There's a lot of talk from a lot of different angles at the moment. Do you think it's healthy? We don't have to talk about it. I just want to say like open public societal conversations. What's your stance?
I really just believe that we shouldn't be shutting down the conversation. That look.
Do you want to down the barrel this?
No, I really don't, because I'm always a bit scared to talk about it. But I think we need to break that kind of like fear around talking about it.
Okay.
And so the Black Lives Matter movement is happening at the moment. Oh, it's been happening for centuries. But right now, particularly, we've got rallies. We've got 13 countries around the world,
Probably more.
42 states in America have been rallying.
Yep.
The only thing, and I can't relate at all to systemic racism. I cannot.
Yes.
I cannot. The only thing that I can think is not too dissimilar is discrepancy between men and women and sexism.
Mm-hmm.
And when the Me Too movement happened, I remembered that I had to put aside the fact that I didn't want to talk about my own experience with sexual assault because that was not helping.
Right.
That was not helping the breakthrough, the revolution, moving forward. That was not helping us move forward, not talking about it and going, actually, I was choosing to feel empowered not talking about it and being like, that's my story. I don't have to tell you anything. I don't have to play the victim. That's not the point. The point is that we have to talk about it because we need to move forward. And that is what I had to push aside. I had to tell my own story and share that with my friends and family and go, this is my involvement in order to move forward. And I feel like lately I have the privilege of being a white person. I want to ask questions.
Yeah.
And I want answers, and I want, you know, and like everyone does, but I don't want to be shut down for asking questions. I don't want to be I don't want to be called out for talking about racism because it's trending right now. I want the conversation to remain open.
Yeah. And from my personal experience, like I am a textbook bottle upper.
Yeah.
I don't avoid confrontation, but I like putting them out to make sure that they're being spoken about in a healthy, respectful way and not coming down on each other and trying to be more right than anyone else because...
Or just being scared of being wrong.
Or just being scared of being wrong.
Yeah,
yeah, totally. Everyone's trying to be on their... Not everyone, but people are trying to be on their best behaviour, and there's certainly a lot of white guilt floating around, and it's important to have these conversations because you're absolutely right. You don't get a chance to move on until you've said your piece.
Yeah.
But I can also feel very empowered in myself in knowing what I know too. So I think what you're saying is that sometimes when you have the education, but you have the voice,
or you have the insight.
You do need to speak up, and when you have the insight, you do need to speak up on the topics. But I'm not advocating for quietly listening, but for some people, because everyone's different, right? Everyone learns things differently. Some people just honestly are really good at sitting in a little box and taking information in until they're confident and ready to feel confident in what they're saying about whatever topic it is.
Yeah, I don't think everyone's an activist. I've had this conversation. Right. I went to Jindabyne with my friend last week, and I did have this conversation with her as well because she had it with her sister, and at the time she was firmly like, if you have a social media account, you have a voice, you have a platform.
Yep.
You share, you post, you know,
stand up for what you believe in.
And then there's the other side of it, and going, my social media account is not a measure of my liberation, my, and some people don't use social media as a platform for selling themselves or advocating, and
everyone's got a reason for using it. Some people just live in a different country and want to keep in touch with their family back home.
Yeah.
And they only have the 7 friends on Facebook because they don't like it.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean they're not actively participating in movements.
Yeah, that doesn't mean they're not having the critical discussions that we're encouraged to have with our circles
and
now,
right? So that their point isn't any more or less valid because they don't have social media.
I got a question.
Okay.
I was at the pub.
Okay. This is the measuring test in Australia is the pub conversation.
Do you spend a little extra time on the drunk guy at the pub?
No. Sorry, finish the question.
Because I was
Sorry.
That was the wrong answer.
This is a metaphorical, but okay.
No, this is a legit question. So I was at the pub and we were talking about the Black Lives Matter protests that was happening in the city. And he's like, nor should they be protesting. And I was like, you mean because of COVID, right?
Right.
Please.
Yeah.
Please.
That's the reason
I'm crossing my fingers that that's why you think they shouldn't be protesting.
Yeah.
And then he goes, oh, yeah. And I'm like, okay. Usually in that situation, I would go, you know what? I'm not going to waste my time because that is my privilege.
Yeah.
Right?
Your time.
That is my time. That is my, and you don't fit, you're not helping your
energy.
Thoughts don't align with what I believe in, so I'm not going to waste my time. But it's not about the fact that they don't even align with me. It's that they're not right. Then it's not right. Like it's not right to think like that. And so my blood starts boiling, and I'm like, do I fight this? Do I open the conversation? Isn't that what we're being encouraged to do, is to open these critical conversations and call out the racist people that we encounter?
Yeah.
And so I did.
Nice. And I think that would have even been a double whammy because not only did someone confront him, but it was a woman.
Yeah, and it did lead to the question I asked. And then I went back to my social circle and go, hey guys, do you spend a little extra time on the drunk racist at the pub these days?
So I think when you initially asked that question, my train of thought was this person during this state is not necessarily, even if you change their mind, the next morning, they're not remembering anything from the night before.
Yeah.
That was my only train of thought. However,
or it could become the reason he has the worst
night of
and
his
the
life
worst
when he
hangover.
stops drinking. So I guess the way that could almost be approached, you approached it one way, which I'm not against.
Yeah.
I like that way.
And again, it's each to their own.
The other one would have been
right.
like, maybe, let me buy you a beer and we'll have a chat about that. And actually go, I'm sitting down with you. I'm not confronting you. I'm not getting in your face. This isn't a physical altercation. This is a conversation. And I'm happy to shout you a beer over it. And by the end of our beer, if we still don't agree, we can walk our separate ways. That's...
Well, I mean,
oh my
that's
God, that
more
was
or
the
less
healthiest,
what I did.
most like... If ifs and buts were candy and nuts, we'd buy drunks beers and have chats. That's wishful thinking at the absolute primest of times.
I know.
So, yeah,
Anyway.
But you know what? Yeah.
I'm going to tell you about my mountain biking experience.
Tell me.
I haven't ridden a bike in 10 years.
Did you ever ride a bike? I don't
Aw.
remember. Well, only because I just don't think, like, we're 8 years apart. Like, I don't remember riding a bike with you.
I had a bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. It was like blue and gold.
I love that parents buy their kids bikes, and after the training wheels come off and the kid knows how to ride a bike, he's not interested in the bike anymore.
Well, I think that's because we live in the eastern suburbs as
don't
well,
really
to
need
be
a
honest.
bike that
Because
much.
like when I went to Jindy, everyone rides bikes.
Oh, well,
It's a
that makes
country
sense.
town. Like we
makes
just. Do you know? I went there and I was like, you know, every day I'm like, what are we doing today? Sailing, mountain biking, hiking in the snow, like all these activities. There's just so much more to do, so much more fun to be had.
Yeah.
But so my friend's dad was like, let's go mountain biking.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool, mountain biking. Can't be. And then my friend Morgan was like, oh, but let's just do it like a chill ride, Dad. Let's just do a chill ride. And I was like, oh, that must mean hopefully the pavement.
Yeah,
Like
the Friday flats
of
downhill
mountain biking. Yeah. And to be fair, it was probably the Friday flats of the mountain biking. But I get on the bike and I'm like, you know, I probably haven't ridden a bike in 10 years. And then he goes, okay, I should probably show you the gears. And I'm like, there's gears? Never had gears on bikes in the eastern suburbs. Like,
I remember my training wheels, but I don't remember the gears.
and there's two. Like there's both sides. Like
Yeah.
I vaguely recall riding a bike once that had one, but like not on
There's
both.
like up to 7.
I can't even drive a manual car. So my opposable thumbs aren't clicking what's supposed to be done.
Yeah.
Whilst I'm leant
So you've
over
taken a
riding
step-
down a mountain.
You've taken a step back in the caveman not being able to use your opposable thumbs to ride a bike.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? They're really weird, those 7-gear bikes.
Yeah, it's bizarre. But so I ended up going and we probably made it about 500 meters because I was literally just like, "Ah!" It was like riding a bike and not knowing how to use the brakes.
Yeah.
Ah!
Terrifying.
It was fucking terrifying. And I tried to be super cool because this is something that they grew up with like every day.
Yeah.
And I'm just like the city slicker who doesn't know how to ride a bike.
Yeah.
Lame.
Yeah, meanwhile they're doing like flips and stuff
Yeah.
off of ramps and you're just like,
And I'm like,
the brakes aren't working very well. They need oiling up, I think. Is that what you do with
But I
brakes? Do you
love
oil
that-
brakes up? I don't know.
I love that he was just going to let me go. And then after that, he was just going to let me go and ride the, without, I don't know, maybe. Yeah.
Did you guys catch the gondolas up?
No. We didn't actually ride in the national park.
Oh.
So I got to be honest, I just rode around the lake. Like there's a
bougie?
there's
There's a bike track.
a bike track.
Oh, that's not bougie.
It's not bougie.
That's not mountain biking.
But you go over a lot of roots and rocks and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And it's really scary. You don't think about it as a non-bike rider, but when you're faced
See,
with
like,
obstacles.
so, like, you were a relatively graceful dancer at times, and yet sometimes when we walk down a street together,
How dare you? At times.
oh, you're pretty good.
I do like 50 hours a week for like 6 years.
Yeah,
You'd hope that I was better than good.
paid off. You're pretty damn good.
I don't reckon it did, to be honest.
Yeah, dancing's pretty.
I haven't danced in
hectic.
years.
Well, just like you haven't
but I've
ridden a
like
bike
broken
either.
my spine because of it.
Yeah.
Chronic pain. Do you know that you can put Botox in like Botox can treat chronic pain. Learned that the other day.
Okay. I mean, I knew stem cells would fix that up type thing. But
some people use
Botox.
it in their fat. I mean, this sounds like the most the giant.
So the common association that people would assume Botox goes with is facial injections to to do whatever.
Cosmetic.
Thank you. But you're saying that it actually
some people actually get it to stop their migraines because they have chronic migraines.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Does something happen where it just puts the gel into an area that might be like, so with the spine thing,
that has the acute pain,
the Botox would go in and act as a cartilage?
Well, because I suppose it stops muscle. I mean,
bone on bone.
May I speak now? I don't know the exact science as to why it works.
Yeah.
But it stops muscle movement.
But it's been something that people
That's what
doing.
Botox does. It stops your. It doesn't make you
have. It doesn't give you muscle movement.
It doesn't give you less wrinkles. It freezes your face in a time. So like that's why they're always like, you better start young.
That's why they're always like, I can't feel my face. Smile and they're like, I thought I was.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, it's okay. Yeah, well, I know nothing about it. Yeah. Although I get told every time your mum see me that I need to do something about the bags under my eyes.
Oh, I've got to get you a little eye cream.
I almost put cucumber on them the other day.
Did you?
And then I didn't realise. We realised we didn't have any cucumber. I went to actively do something and I was like, well, this is too difficult.
This might be a gross generalisation, but I feel like a lot of men can't tell the difference between a cucumber and a zucchini. Can you confirm?
Not personally. I love cooking, so I can tell the difference.
Yeah.
The zucchini, the most identifiable way to tell the difference is the zucchini will have where it's been cut off at the root or the hang.
Yeah.
Whereas the cucumber
doesn't have any
same ends. Yeah. It doesn't have a.
You can eat the ends.
You can eat the ends. I mean, cucumbers do grow on trees as well. They hang like that, but yeah. So I'm not that naive. I can tell the difference between my phallic vegetables and fruits.
I don't put words in my mouth.
Oh, no. But I think as a generalisation, most dudes would not be able to tell the difference.
I watched Danny go to cut up a cucumber and put it in like a spaghetti bolognese and I was like, oh, no. Ooh. That's a big no, right? That's a huge no.
Yeah. I mean, if you ask, and that's what I reckon, even zucchini's questionable and here he is put a cucumber in.
I sometimes grate zucchini and carrot in my spag bowl.
Oh no, me too. I'm pro putting vegetables in because
I bulk it up because I don't really eat
meat. But that's a different story. But a cucumber should not go in.
Cucumber should not be cooked.
No.
Although I did see someone on MasterChef make a burnt cucumber and miso dressing, and I was like, oh. I'm hungry. Let's have breakfast.
Are we done, are we?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, and on that note, thank you for joining us. Hopefully we weren't too insensitive to anyone, and we will be picking this up next week.
Yeah.
Episode 9.
Thanks for listening to us.
The Pretty Cast. Bye.
Bye.